Today is a reunion for the former students of the school here. Did y'all go to the school?
I did.
Really?
I did.
Okay.
I don't remember much, but
well, you seem a little young. Is what.
No, well, I think the school started in '34 or something. Yeah.
When did it close?
Sometime in the '60s or '50s. I don't know, late '50s or early '60s.
If I may ask, when did you go? Did you go to school there?
I went. Most I can figure is probably around 52, 54 in that area.
I guess I did too, but I don't remember the year.
52. And you think it was the 50s?
Yeah, it was definitely the 50s.
Okay. So what grades were we talking about?
I was probably in the third grade.
Okay.
About the same.
So just the one grade here?
Well, with me, our life was sort of here, there, and everywhere. So my grandfather was a large part of the community, one of the founders, so to speak. And so when we stayed with him, we went to the Indian school.
Oh, okay. So did you live in North Charleston at that point?
No.
Okay.
We lived in Alabama with our
okay.
parents, with my dad, and then up in Jedburgh with my mother, and then back to my grandfather's, and around we went.
All right, so when you were here, you went to
I was here, I went to the Indian school.
Okay. Were there Indian schools in the other communities you lived in?
No.
You mentioned can you tell me your grandfather's name?
Benjamin Varner.
Benjamin. Okay. And then you were here around the same time.
Yeah.
But you grew up.
I grew up in this community.
So, how did you attended school here for a little while? Did you go on from here to another school?
Yeah, I went to Berkeley.
Okay. So why did you make that?
I guess they closed down.
Okay. And what about the earlier grades?
I can't remember that far back. I can remember we had a walker. We lived not too far from it.
Yeah.
And who was out there cooking the lunch? My Aunt Martha and Ida and Ruby and all those out there. I know we had an outside bathroom.
Yeah. Like our house?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I know the teacher name was Miss DeHay.
Say that again.
Miss DeHay.
DeHay?
DeHay, yeah.
How do you spell that?
D-A-Y.
D-A-Y.
D-A-Y, I think.
Oh, okay.
We had a wood stove.
Yeah.
And if somebody didn't get there to start the fire, it was cold.
So now, where was the school?
Well, it fronted 17, just a little ways down from where that community church is now.
Gateway?
Yeah, just a little bit down on
the building's up there.
No, they tore it down, unfortunately.
Was this one of those one-room schoolhouses?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so were all the grades mixed together? Or
yes.
So
younger ones in the front, and it went on back, graduated.
Same teacher for
everybody.
How did they divide up the lessons?
Well, she'd go down the row and give everybody their assignments, and then while whatever you were doing, your reading, as who was reading, then other people were doing whatever she would, answering her questions, and it went on that way. It was a lot of commotion sometimes.
Is that how you remember?
Yep.
And you had lunch there?
Yeah.
And you said the family members made lunch?
Mm-hmm.
Out back? Is that outside? Or?
No, in the kitchen.
In the
We
kitchen.
had a kitchen.
Okay. Oh, the
bathroom.
facilities were out back. That's right.
When you left the schoolroom, went to the lunchroom, went to the door.
Yeah. And do you remember what you studied?
Reading is what I remember.
I don't remember nothing.
I remember reading, alpha, your
regular
multiplication tables, that sort of thing.
Yeah. What did you like?
Mm-hmm. I just felt it was strange because I had been in other schools. But
what was strange about it?
Well, it was just in other schools we were, segregated according to grades,
mm-hmm.
and here you were all in one room.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing.
That was the first one I went to.
Yeah.
After we left there, after I left there, I went to Berkeley. We moved.
So it wasn't strange at all.
Yes.
But did going to Berkeley seem strange?
Yeah, but I quit.
No.
Oh, Georgie.
I did. I went to, because it must have went up to about the 6th grade.
Yeah.
Cool. I went in the 7th grade one year, and following, I failed, so I had to quit the next year. So that little school I went to the 6th grade.
So, attending school here, the name of the school was it Varner Indian School?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the name.
But it was Indian school. That was,
Mm-hmm,
and you would refer to it as Indian school.
Right.
How do you? I'm trying to ask you this. At the other schools you attended at different times,
Right.
Did you think of yourself as Indian?
No, I think I was too young for that.
Yeah.
You know, we just realized that we were very poor.
Yeah. But when you came here, you went to the Indian school. Were you conscious of it being the Indian school, or was it just the school?
No, it was just a neighborhood school.
It was neighborhood, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah. And that,
Everybody was there.
well, what about when you went on to when you went on to Berkeley? Was there a sense of being Indian there, or just
It
being
didn't bother me. It didn't bother me one bit.
What do you think the importance of this school in the community has been?
Well, I think it gave us an education. I mean, we weren't. I don't know what the situation was in the state. I don't really know why we were regulated to go into this little one-room school, but we were. And I do want to say, too, that, when I left, I was never behind when I went to a public school, so whatever they were teaching, whatever she was struggling to teach us,
We got
was
it.
appropriate.
We use the phrase struggling there. Why struggle?
Well, I think she had a hard time because,
All
there's
the
always...
class, all the kids in there.
And the older boys were always acting up, So she had a struggle to get everybody to settle down and be quiet and do what they were supposed to do. And several of them got thrown out, just like...
Did she throw them out, or did?
Well, she'd write a note.
Yeah.
I guess the parents dealt with the rest of it,
Yeah. Okay. And I forgot what I was going to ask. Well, so say it was boys and girls all together.
Yeah.
Right. You said some of the boys were trouble. Who were the youngest? First grade, kindergarten?
First grade, that's where it started. I don't
Yeah.
think there was a kindergarten.
And
It started at first.
And they would sit. Were they up front?
Up front,
And all the way to the back. And
Yeah.
so the older ones
were
would
in the
cause some
back
trouble.
room. Yeah, we're in the back of the room.
Okay. Well, you had mentioned your grandfather,
Right.
And you said your grandfather was important to the
Well, I think he sort of was, I'd say probably the patriarch of the community. He built the church and that sort of thing.
What do you remember about him?
Oh, he was a dear, dear man. Very, very wise.
Mm-hmm.
I, to this day, can hear his voice in my head. Yeah.
You remember anything that he told you?
Oh, yeah. Tried to get us to learn from his experience.
Yeah.
That was one of his big things. Why do you have to go out and learn yourself, And then when I went back east with my dad, when my father came home without me, he said, why'd you take her off and let her marry a Yankee?
What were...
And he planted cotton, and,
Yeah.
we all picked the cotton
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing.
Same thing? You pick cotton?
Everybody picked
I
cotton
got
for
stung
Grandpa,
by a
yeah.
worm, too.
Yeah.
You did what?
Got stung on my hand.
Oh.
Every time I worm. I need the cotton.
What else did you farm?
Grandpa with his cotton.
Cotton, most cotton.
It was cotton.
Corn and stuff like that.
Food for us to eat, but
Yeah.
the major crop was cotton because they got that brought in income.
Where'd they sell it?
We would load it up in Monk's Corner at that time, that train station there.
Yeah.
They would come in there and take it to the gin.
And it farmed enough to make a
Yeah,
living off it?
yeah.
And the whole family was involved in it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to pick it for them.
Pick
And,
it for
they
them.
used to give it,
And that's easy work, right?
Yeah.
No.
no. When the little,
Oh, you used to pick it. You got paid for that, but we had to get out there and weed the plants.
I used to do my
No pay for
I used
that.
I used to do my for Uncle Ham.
Yeah.
What'd you
Grandpa.
how did you do that?
Get your bag and tie it on there and, and
Get on
pick
your
the
hands and knees and
handy-
go down the road.
And when they real brown, the little, what you call it?
Pickers.
The thing, it got sticky on your finger and
Yeah.
make your finger bleed and stuff. My
I know we
grandpa-
all had something. I did anyway. I don't know if you ever. I know Catherine and everybody. We got some kind of sores all over our legs. And everybody thought it was impetigo.
Yeah.
But it actually was the burrs of the cotton.
Just scratch it.
Yeah, my
Scratching,
grandpa
yeah.
used to plant cotton too.
Yeah.
Did you say you got paid to do it?
When I done with my granddaddy,
Oh.
he give you a couple of bit money.
You paid by the
Not
amount,
much,
or
but,
Grandpa paid like
what
2
you
cents a
pick.
pound.
What about you pick?
Grandpa
How
had a
much you-
scale and he'd weigh it.
Yeah, just how much you pick.
no? Okay.
But we used to put water on our own.
I put a brick in the bottom of mine one time. When he found out that brick was in that bag, boy.
Was just the so how did you manage? Were you picking cotton at the same time you were going to school when you were third
No,
grade?
they used to close the school down. When the
There's no
harvest
school.
time.
Harvest time.
What time of year is that?
I think we picked cotton in what? Long about September? September, October, early fall.
So they closed the school. Then.
Yeah.
Did you have? So was there summer vacation then too, or was that it?
Oh, we had summer vacation.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they closed the school. I don't remember that. I just know when Grandpa needed me to pick
Well,
cotton,
we
I didn't go to
go
school.
do it.
So everybody was at the school.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Brent, you want to jump in? Any questions?
You kind of covered everything I was going to say. Yeah, so far.
But your family's from here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because my husband used to go to that school.
Yeah. Same
Same
grade?
one.
Does he,
I heard him talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
He used to tell me. I think he had the same teacher, Miss D.A.
Yeah, she taught there until she.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same teacher always.
Okay. You think the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I remember, I mean, I don't know when they closed it. I think they closed in 54, 57. So I don't know if she lasted that all through.
I know my husband
but I
said
know
that
she was always there.
he used to go there, and his teacher's name was Miss D.A. too.
Have you since how old she was when you were? It's hard for a kid to tell.
To me, she appeared to be a young woman.
She was
I
real
remember.
nice
She
and
was a
sweet.
very nice person,
And
very
sweet.
caring. Yeah.
And she loved kids.
Yeah,
She didn't care what kind it was, what race
She
it was.
was she from the community? Or was
She was from Moscona.
She was from?
I don't know.
Okay. Bill, you want to jump in? You got questions?
What other things did you all do within your community that were not school related?
Church.
Yeah. I get in fights.
Church.
Here we have two very different answers.
Church.
let's go with the nice word first. So, is that the Gateway Church here, or was that?
Yeah, but at that time it was just a little country church
Yeah.
with a stove too and an outhouse.
No, we used to help people. No, they used to have quilting party and stuff. And people used to go there. We used to cook. Somebody is sick in the community. We used to go help them. Take their food and stuff.
Yeah. Tell me about the quilt parties.
My grandmother used to do that. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I just
Older
went on
women?
it. Yeah.
Is it like a quilt and bee where they'd sit in a circle and all sort
Yeah.
of work together? And what happened with the quilts?
They'd make them sell and
Keep them warm.
keep them on.
Use them. They make
Yeah, they used to get your
I'm a
dresses.
quilter today.
They used to get your dresses and stuff and cutting them up and all kind of stuff.
You never threw anything away. The dresses were made out of, my clothes were anyway, I don't know about you.
But
Mine were made out of
the feet
feet
sacks.
sacks.
Feet
That's all we wore.
Yeah.
And then when those got worn out as dresses,
They went in the quilts or whatever.
Yeah.
did they patch? Was it like patch
Yeah,
or strips
patchwork,
or
yeah.
with squares? Or
Well, they
strips?
make designs,
Oh, what do you remember in the designs?
Oh, log cabin,
Is that the square?
the
and
squares, the stars,
Yeah.
Lone Star, Broken Star, that kind of thing.
Okay. You said one of you said they would sell them?
I don't know, my grandmother never did. Maybe your family did.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody want to buy it, then she's
Oh, just within the community.
Yeah, which one in the community?
And you mentioned cooking and feeding.
Yeah.
What was the? Well, we'll get back to school. What was the typical lunch at school?
Okra soup and cornbread.
Okra soup and cornbread. Okay, how you make okra soup?
But bean and okra and meat.
What kind of beans?
Butter
But
beans,
bean,
Butter beans. Okay.
tomatoes.
tomatoes,
Tomatoes.
and onion and whatever you want to put in there.
And also, she used to. I have memories of her teaching us to can, but I don't know if that was stuff from the neighborhood or supply. I don't know really where the food came from for the school.
But the kids.
Yeah, I remember canning tomatoes. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Canning dangerous.
We used to for us.
If you don't do it right, it's dangerous.
Well, we did a lot of things that were dangerous. I wouldn't let my grandkids do.
Okay, So you think the kids were canning the food, and then that was food?
Well, we would help. We would help her.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of like a thing. If if the teacher was through with you for the day, then you could go in.
You go in and help with the kitchen and wash dishes and stuff.
You went in and helped.
You got to go.
And get the water up and the wood up and
do whatever.
next day.
Okay. The okra soups, okra, butter beans,
Tomatoes.
Did you have it over rice here? Or?
No cornbread.
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 Okay. What about when you cook for neighbors and so forth? Was there?
Whatever we got, we just cook and take it over.
A lot of coon, a lot of squirrel,
Yeah.
possum.
All right, how do you cook a possum?
Well, my grandfather would. I believe it was good.
Yeah. It's
My
supposed to be.
grandfather would, and you see one today. First time I realized what it was, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you see it a
But
lot.
anyway, my grandfather would skin it
Yeah.
and clean it out and pack it with sweet potatoes
Yeah.
and bake it real slow in the oven so that all the grease was gone.
Yeah,
Same way you cook the coon. Yeah.
They're greasy sort of.
Greasy, but if you cook it real slow,
And pack the sweet potatoes
inside
the body of it.
Yeah.
Pink comes out kind of pink, doesn't it? Is it kind of?
I don't remember what it looked like. But it tastes good. That back then, that's all we had to eat.
Where did they grow the sweet potatoes here?
Yeah, my grandfather always grew sweet potatoes.
Used to have a bank. You had to bank them.
Tell me about I've heard about banking potatoes, and that's fascinating.
Oh, I know. You just put straw and stuff up in there, and you had a big hole.
In a hole, or
a hole like a cave thing.
Yeah.
Put the straw in there. You put the potato in there, coming back up, and you pack it with dirt.
And they don't rot.
No,
And they don't grow.
no, they don't grow.
No.
Yeah, your potato.
It's like a hill.
Like
Yeah.
a hill.
No, I know.
You put all your potatoes in there.
So you just dig it out,
And when you want
Right.
potatoes, you go in there
pine straw or
Pine
hay-
straw.
pine
Pine
straw,
straw.
and then you put the potatoes in there,
and
then
dirt,
cover it back,
layers,
dirt,
layers of pine straw and layers of dirt.
and layers of dirt. And then how long do they keep?
They keep all winter.
Huh.